G'day, folks. It has been a while, hasn't it? It is July the 1st. We have our new General's Handbook previewed. And g'day and welcome. It is AOS Coach, joined with Maddie. I'm going to click up. Australians shorten everything. So it is Madigan, Rules Mortarch connoisseur. Absolute legend in the community who I'm absolutely blessed to have joined us today on this stream. And we are going to be talking about the GW preview that is not 40k. Is that the name? That's the name of the stream, right? Yeah, it's like the not 40k preview.
No Primari's Lieutenants.
That's the little badger. I'm like, so there's no 40k. There is going to be a Games Workshop preview. For anyone, and I will introduce Maddie in a second, but just to set the scene for anyone who hasn't joined one of these streams, there is the GW Twitch stream that will be kicking off about 15 odd minutes from now. So currently it is, well, according to my rocket clock, it is 10:45 at night. So at 11 p.m. my time, the stream is going to kick off. So Games Workshop is going to share a bunch of stuff. We don't know what stuff is going to be. We can predict it. We can have some guesses, but we are going to join along and we are going to watch the stream, discuss it. And yeah, that sounds like what we're going to do, eh?
Yeah. I'm excited to see what's on the stream. You know, I've got some guesses, some hopes. I'm really hoping for an OBR warband for Warcry.
Well, people know what I think about OBR.
I'm sorry.
Madigan is the yin to my yang. So I like my Empire. She likes the Tomb Kings. I like things that are not OBR. She loves OBR. So this is going to be a fun stream. But before we get into our predictions, and by the way, folks, if you're in the chat now, I would love to hear what you think we're going to see. What are you hoping for? And we'll make some predictions in a second. I've got a couple of the images that the marketing team has been sharing. Maybe there's some clues in the images. But Maddie, who are you for the folks who don't know who you are? And yeah, tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm Madigan. I'm an AOS player and referee from the United States. I'm a big simp for Nagash. I mostly play OBR, but I've got Soulblight and Nighthaunt too. I like rules a lot.
Massive rules. Loves her rules. Was a part of the Worlds team. You went over to Worlds in the Netherlands and was a part of the amazing. Very, very jelly of you. So the chat's already fired up. Craig is saying gonna sneak some Primaris lieutenants in the kill team. All right.
We were promised no Primaris lieutenants.
That's true. They did have a little badger that said no Primaris. So let's see how we go. Some Dawnbringer cities of Sigmar.
I expect Dawnbringers, yeah.
I absolutely
would. Maybe a Guild General or something.
Yes, I absolutely would. By the way, the official stream is kicking off soon, so fear not, folks. We will watch it in due time. Let's come back to this in a second. But what else is the chat saying? Matt, g'day. Hello, Matt. Eric's saying another Dawnbringer city reveal. Welcome, Maddie. I've heard you're good. She's great. Maddie is great. So, Maddie, let's bring up some of these pictures and see what the chat has to say. But there's been a couple of things that they've previewed so far. The first one being this image. Sorry, it covers both of our very lovely faces. What's this? This is the 3 days to go image. And what do we see here?
I mean, that's skaven. Like, there's the symbol there. Could be Warcry. Probably not Warcry, since that's Order versus Destruction. But maybe in the starter box. Could be Underworlds. We know there's chaos for that. But maybe something for the next Harbinger's book.
Okay. Well, I mean, I saw a sewer and I immediately thought Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So what's giving you the Skaven vibes here?
I mean, there's a Skaven symbol, like the triangle right on it in the shadow.
I guess plus we've got the bell there in the bottom right-hand corner.
Bell, yeah.
So the left-hand corner, there's a bit of green going on. So we're thinking that's skaven.
It's skaven. Unquestionably skaven.
All right. Confirmed. Lock that in, Eddie. Second one, that's the 2 day to go image. So we see a shield. Is that a shield?
Yeah, there's a shield. There's what looks like a Cruel Boy symbol on the left side, on one of the axes, and then in the middle, some sort of chaos, maybe like Dark Oath.
It's funny because when I look at that shield for the first time, I think Marauders, and I'm like, surely they're not going to be updating Marauders, or maybe this has to do with Warhammer Fantasy Battles and the old world, and given the importance of chaos and slaves to darkness in their version of the old world, is there going to be updated sculpts for the Marauders and the Marauder Horsemen?
Maybe it's got it looks like a Cruel Boy symbol on it though, so I
The
think
axe.
either. Yeah, see on the left side, there's that little like face on the axe.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm thinking
the
Cruel Boy symbol from Warcry.
I'm thinking the shield though. Like I look at that shield and I'm like, that reminds me of that does remind me a lot of the Marauders.
Maybe one of the dual boxes for Warcry. Do Marauders versus Cruel Boys or something?
I don't know. I guess we're going to find out, right?
Yeah, we'll
like
see.
you would have thought Marauders would have been removed from the game, so there must be a reason. So maybe it's Total War, well, Old World.
Maybe, yeah.
Before I go to the other,
replaced by something too, like how Chameleon Skinks got replaced by Hunters for Punchy.
All right, let me look at the chat. What do we got? Nurgle leaks. There's no leaks. I mean, there's the new Harbinger model. That's not really a leak anymore. It's a preview. It's official. Skaven is confirmed. All right, new Skaven. I know Vince Venturella has been talking a lot about the 4th edition, maybe launch box, maybe a bit of wishful thinking. I bet something Tomb Kings for the old world. Maddie, would you be happy?
I want Tomb Kings. I would be happy. Yeah.
What would you like to see?
Well, I'm torn because I would love a new Necrosphinx sculpt because it's amazing. But also, the existing one is already pretty cool, and I think we could use something like better-looking skeletons.
Didn't they show us art of the Necrosphinx in an article?
I think so. Just like concept art.
Yeah, it wasn't an image of the model, but I remember seeing some concept art of the.
I feel like it's one of the most iconic Tomb Kings models.
I mean, it's certainly in comparison with, say, the Bone Giant. Like they were both. I hate that model. It's such a goofy model.
All the old skeletons are a little bit funky looking.
I do miss skeleton archers, though. I do miss them and the snake. What are they called? The
Necropolis Knights.
Yeah, the Necropolis Knights. Fletch Eater Courts and Skaven here. Live another anime saying Flesh Eater Courts, and we did see some new war scrolls in Dawnbringers. So who knows? Maybe there is a bit more of an expansion or a refresh to the Feck line sometime.
Hopefully, glow up.
What I think needs a glow up, and I love this comment, is Cities of Sigmar dwarves, because one of the issues that I've had is it's been very human centric. I'm moving my hands a lot. It's been a lot of humans. Like if I was an elf fan or a dwarf fan, I'm like, what is going on with my dwarves and my elves in the cities? Give us an update.
Yeah. They've said, that it's mostly going to be humans. And I would at least, expect most of the new models to be human, but all the old parts of the range are all still really up in the air over, are they going to get squatted? Are they going to get replaced? Like, what's happening there?
Yeah, my prediction is a lot of the line is just going to become old world, but you're right. What is going to happen? And maybe dwarves are just going to be in Greywater fastness, and that's the only place that they play. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's a weird spot. Like they need to be communicating a bit more.
Yeah.
What else is the chat? Hoping for plastic. Is that Lorgar? I'm not sure what's that? Is that a hero?
Marks. Yeah.
That would explain why I'm like, I don't know what that is. But I saw new orcs. I'm like, okay, maybe it's an orc champion. maybe Primarch of Orcs. Rats. All right, we got some
Everyone wants rats. Everyone wants
rats. Bringing back TCG. Is that a card? That's the card game, right? That was a bad game. I got into that, and
I don't know. I think it was fun. I never had any cards for it, but I tried the mobile game, and it was, you know, it was fun.
It was.
I wouldn't
fun.
say necessarily that it was good, but it was fun.
I played it on the train when, like, in between Clash of Clans, back when that was actually really popular, but I haven't touched it for ages.
Its tap mechanic was really interesting. How the cards, slowly rotated.
Elias saying I was on Varek's channel and that dude hates. Look, he loves painting yellow, so I wouldn't trust a guy who's obsessed with yellow Space Marines. So love Valrak, but your opinions are wrong when it comes to AOS. I don't know what he said, but I'll defend it to the very end. Chaos Dwarves. A big fan, Maddie. I don't know if I've ever shown you Craig or Dr. Obliterator mentioning here. He's got an amazing Tomb Kings themed Ossiarch Bone Reaper army. I should connect you two if you haven't connected yet.
I'd love to see. Yeah.
It's very, very cool. In fact, he won my last tournament's influencer award based on like a coolest army. But mentioning Khalida, some interesting stuff, and maybe keen for a Tomb Queen that isn't Khalida. So interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I think they've gotten a lot better in like recent sculpts of making them more diverse. So
shout out to one of your friends, Pizza/Ryan, here trying to set me up here. What do I think about Path to Glory rules in the Harbinger book? The answer is I don't understand it. I don't play Path to Glory. It's great. That's why I don't do the previews, because I don't know what it means. Sweet. What else have we got? Cool. I'm just keeping an eye on the Twitch stream. They still haven't started yet. They're probably still a couple of minutes away.
Got 5 more minutes, yeah.
Just making sure we're not missing out. Good stuff. All right. So the chats are, well, you guys are off the charts. Orcs and ogres and Seraphon Vanguard box. I don't think they'll show this
one. Yeah.
I tell you who's due one. Stormcast. They still have to start collecting boxes, and like I was surprised because I was starting to write like an intro video. I'm like, you have no Vanguard box. Ian saying delete the bone splitters. That's a bit aggressive for a preview stream. I think Twitchy Terry is being a bit of a troll here, a near Veer Cross hero. That's like saying I don't have enough Fireslayer heroes. All right, I'm going to bring up the last image that we haven't spoken about, Maddie, and that is this one. What on earth is going on here? This is a map, and I assume that is not Middle Earth map. What is going on here, Maddie? What do we think this is?
Dawnbringers, I'd assume. We got a little, Hammer of Sigmar. They're charting out a course.
Is that is that a Hammerhall icon, or is that just a generic cities Sigmar icon? I feel like that's Hammerhall.
I think that's the one they used on Hammerhall for the we got that one image of all the different like cities insignia. I think that's the one they used for Hammerhall.
Yeah, and the Dawnbringer Crusades is starting off. When you look at the new book, the Harbinger book, it does talk a lot about Hammerhall, so it might be the starting point for the narrative arc that we're about to go on to. Given that Hammerhall has the Realm Gate that goes into Gairan and Akshi, so I guess there's Nurgle and Alariel to one side, Khorne and friends on the other side.
And that's where the narrative is heading. There's one crusade going to each. So
yeah, and Mog nailing it here. It matches the old map for the Great Parch, which is the map in Akshi, which that's what I was trying to see in the background as Maddie was talking. Was that map the Akshi map? Maddie, anything else you want to add to this?
I see the spider thing, the next incarnate. Maybe. I mean, no mention of one coming soon, but a couple of the GHB things mention incarnates. You know, there's a battle tactic for it. There's the spell that unbinds them. So maybe.
And I know some people in America are probably waking up to the stream and maybe they haven't caught the General's Handbook previews just yet, but there's a battle tactic that's focused on or has an element to incarnates. There is a spell that will turn an incarnate to be wild. There's a couple of little shenanigans, and yes, we are probably due for an incarnate. There is no incarnate unit in the book, but maybe we're going to see a snowy, icy incarnate. What do you think the incarnate would look like if when it comes out?
I don't know. Like, people are saying, you know, they think the spider rumor engine's gonna be one, but it looks dead. Not that that'd prevent it, but I feel like that's gonna be like a terrain piece or something. I don't know, if we're getting a snowy incarnate, maybe some sort of like ice golem.
I think Ryan might have nailed it in the chat. Ice spider incarnate would be pretty cool.
Sick. That would be sick.
Maddie, I'd love your thoughts on this one. Thomas saying a Yeti stepping on Nagash.
Thomas just here to bully me.
Age of Something, love this channel. Maybe they'll just put some points down to the current incarnate. Yes, absolutely. Like, it's definitely way too expensive. Let's bring that down to 200 and everyone can run an incarnate.
What a nightmare.
No. God, no, please no. A mammoth skeleton incarnate.
That'd be cool. A mammoth? Yeah, that'd go with the ice theme.
Eric asking a great question, and Maddie, I'll get you to answer this one as well. Are incarnates well received as a play piece in your circles? In mine, in casual, we think it's kind of NPE, being non-player experience or negative player experience, depending on your circle. What's your thoughts on incarnates?
I like it, honestly. I think that it was a little bit too cheap, you know, when it was first released. And I do think they need to be careful with it because, you know, it's something that's available to every army. So they don't want it to, you know, counteract a faction's weakness too much. But I think it's an interesting piece. You know, and I like seeing how each faction kind of uses it in different ways too.
Look,
you know, some will try to make it wild right away, and some will, you know, use it more as like a control piece.
I love the concept. I think it doesn't. It needs to be scaled back significantly. Much better than an endless spell, but not as powerful as it currently is. Just because, as we saw at the start of the incarnates, I'll never forget somebody. I heard a lot of comments from the 40k community when they were at Adepticon. They were going around looking at the tables of Age of Sigmar, and a lot of comments came from 40k saying, is that incarnate a terrain feature? Because it was so common on the table that they thought that it was actually just a static piece on the table. I don't want to get to a point where like 50%, 40% of tables are running an incarnate.
I think it was definitely like too cheap when it first came out, but you don't see it, you know, as much anymore. Like, it seems like it's in a pretty good place of, you know, it's a cool tool that some armies like to take, but it's not being spammed.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, folks, I am keeping an eye on the Twitch chat. There was a stream starting up and then it crashed, and then like 1 million people just put F in the chat. So rest assured, I am watching the GW preview stream very quickly. The minute that they start, we will start dual streaming. When they start to talk about things, we'll show the videos. You can listen in, you can hear it. We've already tested it. And then I'd love your thoughts and opinions and commentary as we go through this. So, Maddie, what are you hoping for? While I keep an eye on Twitch and make sure that they haven't kickstarted, what's your goals, aspirations, and dreams for this preview?
I want an OBR Warcry warband. Like, give it to us. Our battle tome has art of these tiny little bone golems, and I would love to see those in a Warcry band. But I don't again, the autumn boxes for Warcry are Order and Destruction. So unless they're in the starter box, which I can hold out hope for, I think we might be out of luck, but that's what I want. We'll be our Warcry band.
I would like to see the second iteration of Dawnbringers. I think that's the most low-hanging fruit. Okay, we saw the orc more grunter. Is that what it's called? The big pig, the more grunter. So I can only imagine that's going to be a part of book 2 or book 3. But what else? What else is coming in these books? So we've already seen Nurgle touched, Fire Slayers touched, Gits touched, and Flesh Eater Courts touched. What's the next 4? So we probably know that Orcs, Ironjaws are going to be in the next one. But who are the others? And what are they?
Necessarily 4 either. Because
we've got
4 Dawnbringer books and 12 factions. So they can't all be 4 because that'd be 16.
Don't apply maths to me. It's almost midnight. It could be like the Lumineth Broken Realms, which is like Lumineth. There was a city, the Settlers Gain city of Sigmar, and it was basically just another Lumineth tome.
Yeah.
Looks like the stream is back. So they had a mad crash. It looks like they're coming back. So fear not, folks. We are keeping an eye out on the Twitch stream, hoping for some kind of information or reveal on 3.0 Flesh Eater Courts. So anyone who hasn't caught the Dawnbringer series, I would go check out Goonhammer. They did a great article on the Flesh Eater Courts. They actually got some War Scroll updates, which was pretty cool.
They've been shafted. I hope they get something.
Yeah, I whinge a lot about my sons not getting a lot of love. I can't whinge when Flesh Eater Courts have gotten no bone. They got a White Dwarf update.
Yep.
That's pretty shocking. More Skaven. Just make sure everyone can hear the audio.
Going to take the lens and point it at some other things. We're going to look at the Mortal Realms. Some really exciting stuff coming for fans of Age of Sigmar.
You can all hear the audio? We're all good?
In that world. We're going to look at the Age of Darkness. We got a little bit of Old World as well. Throw into. Thank you for joining us. If
all right, they're just going to talk some random stuff. The Marrow Kroll Who it started. Yes, cool. New Incarnates, all Forge World retired.
You're tuning in from somewhere around the world. It's always nice to see where you guys are choosing to Warhammer at the moment. And also, let us know what hobby you're in.
Maddie, anything else you think is going to happen?
Maybe for one of the new Dawnbringers models, I feel like Nighthaunt could use a second Foot Wizard. They've only got the Guardian of Souls. I feel like that's something they really need.
Yeah, because a lot of their wizards are coming from named characters, right? Like you've got Olinda.
They've got Olander, Reichnor, and the Brio Queen, but no one takes her.
Sorry, our friend of the chat, Jerk, Dick, Gareth, Tomo coming in saying, "Is this a lumberjack convention? Lumberjack living city?" Well, that would annoy Alariel. Let's not piss off Alariel. Cool. Sorry. At the same time, I'm listening into the audio to make sure that we're not going to miss out on anything. But we've got the Dawnbringer book. We've got Flesh Eater Courts, hopefully, some type of update. We have Cities of Sigmar, hopefully. What else? What else could possibly happen? Do you think it's possible to see a new Auric War Clan or a Stormcast book, given that they were the launch titles for 3rd edition?
Maybe. I mean, we've got one unannounced winter book. So that's, maybe Feck, or maybe Orcs or Stormcast. But maybe we'll get a new roadmap and see something for January, February, or in spring.
And you know what? Like I'm looking at it in the chat, and Mechrat, for example, mentioning Skaven Battle Tome, and it feels like the first couple of Battle Tomes, up until about Nurgle, they didn't quite get it right. Like if you look at the quality of Battle Tomes, and then you saw Nurgle, they kind of started getting a lot better from that particular point. So you could revisit all of the Battle Tomes in those first 6 months.
They're very safe, yeah. Stormcast isn't necessarily the one I'd expect, just because, if we take release cycle patterns, we'll probably get a new edition next summer, and Stormcast will probably be the launch box for that.
I only say Stormcast because when you look at MetaWatch, it talks about like the representation percentage, and it's like 30-odd% of the War Scrolls in the book being used. So it's almost like, do they wait the year or do they fix it immediately? It's a good challenge. It's a very good challenge.
They also wouldn't necessarily, know with the, how long it takes. Ooh, Dawnbreakers. Oh, that's sick.
Wow. We have a launch box.
So this is the cities of Sigmar, and some glorious new miniatures on the way. So there is a new launch box to tell you about today, and also an incredible new character. So let's have a look at the launch box first. Some of the models that are in this we've seen before.
Yeah, the knight. We've seen the knights. We've seen the men at arms.
Much like we've seen with some of the other really significant.
Hero on the left, we haven't seen.
Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40,000.
No, so hero in the middle we've seen, but the left and the right of them we have not seen.
We've seen the right one. It was in the same preview as the ones in the middle.
We've seen the steel helms down there.
You're right.
And we've had the Marshal and the Relic Envoy that was, I believe, revealed on Warcom.
So wizardy type thing.
A lot of models in this set.
Yeah. Indeed, and there is a few that we haven't seen before. So you'll notice there in the middle. Oh, no. So
jump already.
No, we've seen that one.
That's all right. Move on. So so this is the Free Guild Marshal and the Relic Envoy. Now you don't get to be, top dog in the Free Guilds by kind of sitting behind a desk. So these guys are the best of the best.
Did you notice the fat knight?
Because you don't go out into the mortal realms and survive to become a marshal unless you are an exceptional warrior and leader.
Yeah. Really, really lovely, flexible kit as well. So
we've seen this.
This is a character that you can.
Yeah, these aren't new.
You can kind of decide the storyline for them, and you can choose that they're going to have pistols, or a helmet.
They look very
great hammer,
like customizable, which is nice. Lots of different parts.
Yeah,
that's it. And they've got the little Relic Envoy there. So the Relic Envoy.
There's a lot of iconography that you could be interchanging. It sounds like.
And they come along, as you can see there, with a little head.
I think that's good for cities. Part of the draw is that they're just your guys,
and they've been
the ordinary people of the realms. So
that's probably been one of my gripes previously about cities, is that you can't customize very well for the different cities. So it's great. There's going to be that level of customization.
Or Grandad can berate you for doing things wrong.
Fair enough. Well, we have seen this model before, though, so let's move on and see what else we've got. So this model is brand new.
Yes, there we go. New hero.
Warforger.
Yep.
So I think you can gain some things just by kind of having a look at the miniature itself. It's obviously magical in some nature. He's a master of metal.
Looks cool.
What is this model?
Like
what's going on
yes. So there's a little mantra where there is metal.
You've got all those symbols.
They're basically seconded
of the different realms. Looks like
the winds of magic
to strengthen the metal. Sigmar's armies. So, they'll make sure your armor is a little bit more resistant, your weapons cut a little bit better, because the mortal realms are full of orcs and stormcast and all things that are bigger and probably stronger than you. So you need all the help you can get. He's got a nice little runic crucible there to help him influence the battlefield. But it's not just sort of helping your own guys that he does. He can turn your enemy's armor to lead so they drop to the floor, or he can make it incredibly brittle so their weapons shatter or melt. He's a very versatile battlefield wizard.
He's got quite a nice kind of battered look to the miniature as well, which
that
kind
lovely leather apron to protect him.
It looks like a huge.
So you got the leathery apron and the pot, both having the icons from the Winds of Magic, which is obviously the realms, as you've already said. you've got this anvil, and well, you've obviously got like a blacksmith type of look, and the realm of metal kind of face. Maddie, what's your thoughts? The first thing I thought was, where's my pot garage?
little friend. Yeah, it's really cool looking. I'm excited to see what it does. You know, some sort of support wizard, I assume. You know, hand out buffs, debuffs.
Full unit. So for the first time, we get to have a look at
steel helms. That's the full unit. The banner's cool. Pretty big.
Another relic envoy.
Looks breakable though.
They're at the top right. What do we know about the Free Guild steel helms? Now we can see the whole unit altogether.
So these guys are the basic infantry of the cities, and so they tend to have come from, say, the common folk. You know, various preachers and stuff have convinced them to sign up, take the coin Malleus, join the Dawnbringer Crusades, etc. But this unit, because they are regular humans essentially, they need a little bit more to get them going. So we've got the Steel Helm Herald there on the left, and as you can imagine, walking into battle with both a trumpet and a banner, not holding your sword or shield, you've got to be the bravest, most loyal person there.
I do like banner bearers.
Triply blessed by the
like for all the different cities,
Brogan, as well as the Order of Aloris, but they also tend to have an emblem of one of the settlements that has yet to be founded. So it's essentially a promise that this unit will found that settlement.
one city sort of thing.
Yeah. And then we've got the Battle Priest over on the right-hand side. You know, as any good priest, you know, he can rouse the troops with a great sermon, but he also holds that relic there. Now, we've seen in the past that the skulls of martyrs have become a bit of a diminishing resource, whereas a martyr has many other things. Broken swords, shields, bits of armor, pinky bones, that sort of thing. So the battle priests bring one of them, and they do have a genuine effect, both on the troops and their weapons. So
almost like
the faith has been proved right.
Almost like Lumineth
I like
Sentinels
right
having a wizard. They've got like a little unit priest.
Yes. Imagine like
one little priest. Yeah, that's cool.
You know, dishing out the flagons of ale sort of thing that the new founded
that's interesting.
He's put a lot of.
I wonder if it'll actually be like a priest mechanically. You know, if you get the priest keyword and be able to cast prayers, or if it'll just, you know, give a little buff.
So we're not going to dwell on these for too long, but
I bet you it's similar to Lumineth, where you've got like the unit champion having one model is a priest, and it can do limited buffs as opposed to full buffs. I like the Knights. I must admit, when I saw them last preview, I was a big fan of the Knights. And as Eddie's saying as well, there's a lot of flexibility in the build and the kits, so I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, very detailed barding. Ooh, that's rules. That's rules.
Be the first chance to get hold of the new Cities of Sigmar Battle Tome. The cover there, you can see it's got a special cover, so it doesn't have art on it. It's got kind of heraldry of some of the cities. Some of the cities' heraldry on there you might have recognized from the current Cities of Sigmar. Some of it's new.
Zoom and enhance.
Some of the rules there on the page. If you kind of squint, you can.
Let's squint, Maddie. Let's.
I can't see them.
Very rich, very.
It's some sort of heroic action.
A lot of units in it. Represented.
I want to see those.
Of Sigmar. Obviously, the units in the box, but also the wider army.
We're gonna have to screen print it. We're gonna have to zoom in.
Which we've yet to see. Taking
zoom. Double click.
One of the things that includes is this new model as well, which is, I think, one of the best models of the whole year. This is a phenomenal.
That is so cool.
Alex, what do we know about it?
So this is Talia Vedra, Lioness of the Parch, given that nickname.
Scorpion tail.
So to a degree, people kind of refer to her as a bit of a queen of Hammerhall, but in reality, she's the first marshal of Hammerhall Aksha, leader of the armies, and again, she's achieved her position through merit, starting off as a mercenary, working her way up, a little stint in some elements of politics involving 4 rather corrupt individuals getting killed, and then straight out back to the battlefield. So she comes with a couple of options, a couple of weapons, as well as a manticore there, Infernodyne.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a manticore.
Very cool name for a manticore. I think when we started out this year, everyone sort of suspected that the lion might be the best model of the year, but I don't think that everyone realized which lion it was going to be. I think this is
fascinating. And my first concern is what is happening to the Free Guild General on Griffin. I love that model.
You just go, it doesn't matter what army that's
in. This is cool.
I want that army because that model is just glorious. And I think this is one of those absolutely knockout centerpiece kits that you can just build a whole collection around. It's going to look incredible on a field. She's really good in the game as well. So if you're looking just for a gaming piece, she's probably the most.
And that's probably one of the things that Cities has lacked is Cities has never really had a centerpiece, and when you do, it's like the Hurricanum or it's coming from an ally. So
the Manticores is right.
Well received.
We've seen Manticores before. We've seen kind of like
very different type of Manticore.
Noble beast, so you've got a much kind of more proud, noble, I suppose, realistic line rather than a kind of.
Looks huge too.
It does still have a massive scorpion tail on it, so it's definitely still a fantastical creature.
I really don't want the Free Guild General on Griffin to be retired. I just want to put that out there.
Kind of barding and stuff on it as well, so it fits.
I feel like all the Free Guild stuff is in danger.
Yeah, Chase probably has the right comment in the chat, is that the Free Guild range is probably going to be going away, except for like the Demigryph Knights. I could see Demigryph staying, to be honest.
Should we talk a bit about the options in the kit, Alex?
What's
going on with the weapons?
So she obviously comes with a helmeted and unhelmeted, but she also has essentially 3 weapons. So she's got the sword Parch Tongue, which is an artifact from basically the Flame Wizards, and it can burn anything except for her. It's cool to her touch. She's got the Axe Justice that was taken from the bloody Duke Brutar, and then she's got the Hammer of Zeal. So this is formerly a weapon called Warmaker from the corrupt treasurer Venalius, but whilst it does inspire a lot of people because it's got a bit of a holy element to it, she does have a habit of trying to lose it. However, it always comes back in some form or another.
Like a boomerang.
Yes.
Yeah. So what you might notice as well behind her is some heads inside that kind of weird casket thing. Definitely a recurring theme, isn't it, with the Cities of Sigmar? That
yes,
they have heads in a box that they carry around with them.
It's like a weird hybrid of like.
So these again, they're martyrs' skulls, martyrs' relics, and as we've seen with an awful lot of the range, yes, they carry around bits of former martyrs.
Fair enough. Right. Well, an incredible miniatures. We might have a little bit more for the Mortal Realms later.
It's like a weird. It's like a weird hybrid of Sisters of Battle versus Imperial Guard. All right, let's listen to this. So that quickly went from Age of Sigmar to 40k. So we saw some 40k
Not
stuff
40K.
And well, not 40k.
Legally distinct 40k.
It's Horus Heresy. All right. Well,
It's different.
cool. Let's put this to a side for a second. What do we see with Cities? What do we know, and what were your thoughts? I saw the chat, people just went crazy. A lot of fans of the Manticore. People seem excited. I saw some people obviously not excited, and I can appreciate people who either like the Cities of Sigmar aesthetic as of today, or maybe something hasn't quite captured your imagination. But what was your thoughts, Maddie, as a non-Cities player?
I love them. I feel like they've gotten, I don't know, just the perfect mix of like, these are just ordinary guys, but also, a little bit of, they've got magic following them. The Alchemist looks really cool. All the kind of like macabre relics of, we're carrying around dead martyr parts. It just gives them a lot of flavor. And then, having a centerpiece, I think, is great for them. especially.
Yeah, it's been really lacking. Cities like the Free Guild General on Griffin has never been a centerpiece. It's never been a very big threat. Just really quickly before we continue, someone asked in the chat, I can't see where it was, is that all for AOS? And the answer was no. Eddie alluded that there might be some more AOS, so potentially Dawnbringers 2, potentially Flesh Eater Court. So by the sounds of it, that's not all for Age of Sigmar. So stay tuned.
Well, he said that's not all for the Mortal Realms, so could be more AOS or it could be Warcry and Underworlds.
And this is why I have you as my pot grot, because it's almost midnight and maybe I'm like shutting down. Let's assume there's more. Surely they're going to show us Dawnbringers 2. Surely they're going to give us
Dawnbringers 2. I want to see it. Yeah.
Give us a bit of a sneak peek. Like what else is coming other than the more grunter? I thought it was really cool. I'm not surprised at all that there's a launch box coming. So that's how they launched Chaos, or Slaves to Darkness. It's how they launched Sisters of Battle. It's how they've launched a whole bunch of armies.
Seraphon too.
Seraphon. If I had an educated guess, based on the way they did Slaves to Darkness and Sisters of Battle, I would imagine that box is going to hit the shelves around November. So all of those armies did like wave 1 was November, and then they released the rest of the army. They did for Lumineth too, I believe. And then like after Christmas, they'll have like wave 2 of the Battletome and the models.
Makes sense. I'm tempted, honestly. Like the models are just so cool. I'm really tempted to kit bash up like a Cities of Nagash army.
Oh, sorry.
Skaven.
This is looking Warcry or Underworlds.
Underworlds, yeah.
Pestilence.
Oh, tiny little rat.
All right, so Pestilence, Warcry, Underworlds Warband. I used to confuse the two.
So a new Warhammer Underworlds Warband.
I don't know. The Skaven player is like excited that they finally got their leaks, or disappointed that it's Underworlds.
I love this. Like any warband that has a familiar, like that little rat holding some warpstone.
I love the little rat.
Sign me up. You got the fish and the creatures from the Idoneth Deepkin. You got the bat squig. I think Games Workshop have nailed it. It's just all about the familiar meta. What's going on in the chat? Chat seems to be pretty excited. Skaven people, people saying they don't like the rat smoke. I know that's been a Vince Venturello gripe. Doesn't like the smoke. I don't really care. It makes life a little easier to paint. Just put a wash or a contrast, and you got smoke. But I mean, cut it off if you don't like it. Love the warpstone.
Yeah.
Just processing this. The dual blade is pretty cool. Like the one at the back with the dual blades doing a bit of a dance. That's kind of cool.
The sensors, the staves, like they're all very good.
Just looking at the comments, cool, but not Eshin or Scryer. Look, you had the Eshin warband last, right? Wasn't the last Skaven warband an Eshin one?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was an Eshin one. What else? Underworld's warbands don't miss. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think this is great. I think either way, self-contained. Whether you want to start Skaven, whether you just want to paint up a bunch of models that are a little different, I think these are neat. Updated Plague Priest, I guess, if you wanted to run any of these as a Plague Priest, have 3 to get your special prayer go off abilities. What else is going in the chat?
What base size are plague priests on?
Sure.
Is it 40s or 32s?
Surely they're either on 25s or 32s.
I don't know.
They're
I don't think
one of
they're
those.
25s.
I don't know. Some of the cities of Sigmar armies are still on 25s, which are dumb, but they are.
Yeah, I don't know.
The last one was Eshen. I'm being told 32. Chad is saying 32. Thank you. So 32.
I think that it's a 40 for the big one here.
Yeah, the big one looks,
unless it's a 32 and then the small ones are 28
on 25. Yeah. Given that they're Underworlds, they might be on the weird middle ground of not 25, not 32s. Yeah. Ryan Pizza saying looks like 25s, 28s, and 32s. So shouldn't be too hard to scale up or scale down if you want to incorporate this into your current Skaven. But Warpstone Enjoyer, I would trust this one. This sounds like a Skaven person saying all heroes are on 32s and infantries are on 25. So nothing in Skaven is on a 40 mil, I'm being told.
I don't know. I wouldn't trust a Skaven.
Somebody in the chat saying, I like the new models, but how to field them in front of the 1990s plague monks. Look, overall, I think these are cool.
They need a resculpt.
Would you pick these up?
I don't play Skaven. They look cool. If they were to dual box with Death, I would get that and maybe paint them up. But I don't really have a use for a bunch of rats, as cool as they are.
Definitely could see you obviously you could pick these up as a palette cleanser if you just wanted to paint something different, but maybe it's a lead into the design of what Skaven might look like when they eventually get updated. Who knows? Some people are saying 4th edition will launch with Skaven, potentially Coalition. Yeah,
that'd be really good for them. Hopefully get all their old models resculpted. A lot of them are older than me, which I don't think that's a state that model should be in.
Well, I remember a lot of the Eshen models coming out. Like I remember when the Gutter Runners and the Night Runners came out, they were like multi-kit was like just blew people's minds. That was like the height of 6th edition, really. So it's crazy that stuff is still around. And then you look again and look at the Underworlds warbands and how much of a glow up they've had and how dynamic they are, and how less of a monkey hands they are.
Yeah.
Skaven models, but yeah, cool. I think generally the chat's a fan of this. I think anything that's like Skaven and quirky and different. And do you reckon this might lead into some more people? Like you don't see Pestilence very much on the table. Do you reckon maybe this might lead to some more Pestilence, or maybe not quite?
Underworld's warbands, most of them aren't particularly good at Age of Sigmar. Like you kind of feel like Skaith's Wild Hunt is a Sylvaneth staple. Kindness Reapers was a staple in Nagash lists for a while, but on the whole, I don't think it's going to shake up the Age of Sigmar meta. If I had to guess,
no. Eddie's looking at the screen, so maybe something's coming.
That's an orc,
boys.
There we go. Crow Boys Warcry. What did I say?
It's a monkey. It's a monkey. Okay. What is going on with that hero? Wow.
Yeah, so these are brand new Cruel Boys warband for Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry.
Those are cool.
Really cool. These are my jam, basically. This is
okay.
Oryx is my choice of army currently for Warhammer.
Sign me up.
That would be good.
And it's
sign me up on these monkeys. I am such an idiot when it comes to these familiars.
They're good. They're good.
But that hero,
all the recent Warcry bands have been great. So maybe this is what Cruel Boys needs.
Warcry nails it out of the park. Like that hero in the middle looks sensational. Maybe that makes Gut Rippers actually a decent threat.
It's probably not a hero. It's probably just the unit champion.
I'm trying to give Cruel Boy some hope. Like let me throw them
It
a
is
bone.
hope. It is hope. All of the recent Warcry bans have been super playable. Like, hopefully this one is good for him too.
I wonder if like an investment like this means that maybe there's a refresh coming pretty soon, because I feel like if they had their times again, they wouldn't design the War Scrolls the way that they've designed their War Scrolls. And by the way, Jet Jagger nailed it. It looks like they're wearing Seraphon skulls, which I think is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it does.
I got to call this comment out. This might be the comment of the chat. No, not you, Gareth. The one before you, not you, Gareth. Flesh Eater Court Monkey versus Cruel Boy Monkey in a knife fight. That's gold. That's gold. And I'm with Doug, 2+ tough. Good to see you, mate. Love your Dawnbringer lore video today, by the way. How did the wild monkeys not get added to Bone Splitters? That's the $1 million question. This does feel a little Bone Splittery.
A little. But I feel like all the Warcry bands have gotten, a little out there for what the normal aesthetic of the faction is.
I tell you what, I'm curious about that pot grot little hob slitter at the back there with an egg. What does the egg do? Why are you stealing the egg? And what does it do? Does it impact any monsters? Like, that has to be a monster egg, right? Surely that's a stolen something. Is doing something with this egg. What is it going to do?
It's a Seraphon egg.
Yeah, I'm down with this egg stealing grot and monkeys, and this is insane. This is Blood Bowl. This is turning into pure insanity. The big gorilla is going to replace the rogue idol. Poor old rogue idol.
Rip Forge World.
R.I.P. all Forge World and my colossal squig. All right, Eddie's looking at the screen again, so maybe he's going to show something.
Great. Okay, so moving away from the Mortal Realms, we do have something new to show you from the Old World. So,
Old World.
Cool new model for you.
Giddy up. Bretonia. Grail Knight? No. Questing Knight. It's a Questing Knight.
You excited?
No.
No?
Boo Bretonia. Look at that lovely square base, rectangle base. That's a Questing Knight. Right? It's not a Grail Knight, it's a Questing Knight.
So a brand new battle standard for Bretonia. It's nice to see a Bretonian hero on a horse. That's kind
battle
of how
standard bearer.
Oh, bring back BSBs.
Battle standards, of course, an important part of Warhammer. If you played old Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and certainly will be still in Warhammer the Old World, battle standards particularly important.
So
Bretonia.
good.
It was always like a given that your army will have a standard of some sort.
Always
they love their
standard
heraldry,
bearer.
and there's nothing quite as heraldic as the biggest flag you could possibly find.
That's it.
Alex, what do we know about this guy?
So to bear the army standard, it's an incredible honor and is usually given to a key hero, say an earl or a baron of note, or perhaps a peerless warrior like a marshal or a warden, because, as you said, particularly for Bretonians, the battle standard was incredibly important. But even just as a hero model, they were always fantastic sort of centerpiece items.
Yeah, and you've got a lovely, nice open banner there as well.
I must admit, one, this looks a little small for a BSB. Two, where is the Goblin Green base painting? Like, what is this brown stuff on the base? It has to be Goblin Green. And three, I mean, this is Old World, right? This is 300 odd years before Fantasy Battle, so...
Or you can lean into the kind of Duke of Fiefdom that your faction hails from, which is what's happening in this instance, where the model is wearing the kind of black and red heraldry of its liege lord, but you've still got a little bit of space in there to kind of throw in some.
Can't wait to fight those on the table.
Heraldry on
beat them up.
crest and things like that will be nuanced to that specific knight and his achievements and accomplishments.
Okay.
Just looking at him
Not
there,
bad.
the way he's turned.
I'm a little underwhelmed. I'll be honest. If you told me that was a regular questing knight that would be in a regiment of 5, a unit, cool, no problem. The fact this is a BSB, who are a centerpiece model, who the army rallies around the banner of a BSB, they're normally glorious. Like, other than the helmet, like, I'm a little underwhelmed, if I'll be honest with you, with this particular model. Yes, Ryan, it's also a Flesh Eater Courts model, given that they think they are the Knights of the Realm. What are your thoughts, Maddie? I'm underwhelmed. I'm underwhelmed with this one.
It's a knight. I haven't, played any of Warhammer Fantasy Battles, so I don't really know, the key significance of BSBs. It looks cool, but not like wow,
Yeah, if you look at the old BSBs from Fantasy Battles, you would see that they're much more magnificent. Maybe they're like taller.
We've got another preview for you guys. So this is this I think is probably I'm going to say the most exciting thing for today. It's pretty cool. Yeah. This is the thing that you might have spotted some teasers on for social media in the last couple of hours. So yeah, let's take it away and have a look at our last preview of the day.
Is this the video game? Ew. Is this epic? Is this epic? Is GW bringing back epic? Okay, renamed epic. It's epic.
Wow.
What?
So Warhammer, the Horus Heresy, Legions Imperialis.
So for anyone who doesn't know what epic is 15 mil. 15 mil.
Set in the Horus Heresy era that will be launching fairly soon with a glorious new box set. And what you can see on the screen right now...
That was not on my bingo card.
Yeah, I would not have guessed that.
This is a really...
Look, I've seen a whole bunch of epic being brought back to life in from 3D printing. I'm seeing a lot more people building epic armies, but I would have never predicted that they would bring back epic during 10th edition. And hopefully they never bring back the fantasy version because it was terrible. But I tell you what, contrast would go a lot further. Yeah, looking at Autumn's like, that's not technically a 40k preview. Yeah, it's Horus Heresy, so it's 3rd edition of the 30k. What do you think? What do you think about epic?
I don't know. Like, I've never played. The models are really tiny. I'm just thinking of all the little familiar mascots we saw. Imagine those just scaled down even more. Tiny crab.
It allows you to obviously play massive battles, right? Like it's things that you can't even do past Armageddon in 40k. So I see the appeal, right? It's mass 40k or 30k in this version. So run all the tanks, run the Titans, run like crazy number of stuff. But
also it's like a similar amount of actual models. It's just like more models per base. Basically.
Yeah. But hey, look, they tried Battlefleet Gothic. I don't think that went very far. Is it Nordicus, whatever the
Aeronautica Imperialis, I think.
Look at you go. They tried. We'll see how that goes. I'm not a fan. And that's cool. It's not for me. If it's for you, awesome. You do you. Yes, Max. I was actually thinking about that. Bring back the epic scale Magnus of Red. Some of the greater demons or the Primarchs were just hilarious. If you look at epic Primarchs,
I didn't know they had epic scale Primarchs. That's really fun.
it's so funny. If you look at it, like if you Google it after this, if you look at Magnus the Red, if you look at Magnus the Red actually as epic. Actually, I might even do it now. Magnus Red epic. It's so funny. Oh, here it is. Ready. There he is. Oh, that's Magnus.
It reminds me of like old Warhammer Fantasy Nagash.
Like it's so bad.
You know how
it's
some
so
people
bad.
put him on the big base?
Yeah.
Just put that on a big Magnus base.
I will, I'll give them credit where credit's due. The advancement of miniatures and the way they do things now, the detail here in this particular game, just looking at that is just so much superior to what they could do back in the day with lead and metal. Because Epic back in the day was in metal, it wasn't even plastic. So it never crossed over. So the detail you can get there and the advancement into like contrast paint as well, it's pretty cool. I'll give them credit, but
it's very detailed for something so small.
But it's not for me. So what was on our bingo cards? So we predicted some things like the second Dawnbringers book. Considering last preview, we saw the Moor Grunter. We hope for some Flesh Eater Courts, considering they're the only battle tome that hasn't been updated yet. We were hoping maybe to see some roadmap. What's going on with Age of Sigmar now? What else? What else were we hoping? We obviously expected Cities of Sigmar, which is what we got. Is there anything else on our bingo card?
I mean, I think that was most of like what we thought was going to be there. Honestly, I thought we'd see a new like mounted free guild general, which I guess we sort of got with the named character. But I expected a generic one too.
Yeah, Red, I'm a little surprised. I actually would have expected a little bit more for AOS. I would have expected at least the second Dawnbringer book. That to me would have been even just a sneak preview of which armies or if there's any other models.
Maybe we'll get one at the end. But it seems like very short and sweet stream, honestly.
Normally they go for about an hour to 90 minutes, so there's still potentially time for more. But I would have expected a little bit more. I'm hoping this isn't it.
Yeah.
Just look at what else is in the chat. What else is in the chat? Yeah, I mean they're cool. Like I think Autumn has probably nailed what I'm thinking. It's cool, but it's underwhelming. It's not for me, and that's okay. If you like 30k, if you like Heresy, if you like Epic, this is great. Like I'd be very happy with this, but it's not my game, and that's cool. Impress me, bring back Mordheim. But it makes me wonder, Maddie. Like when is Old World coming out? I think that's the key, right? Because it was launched over 3 years ago. I think it was 2019 was the first article, and we went from art to maps to now actually seeing some actual models. How far do you think we're actually off? How far do you reckon we're off?
I mean, maybe we get it next summer with that conflict, if we got New Age of Sigmar edition 2. So maybe the summer after?
I feel like Old World and Cities of Sigmar are interlinked. I feel like they happen at the same time.
You think it's that close, huh?
Well, because I think that Cities of Sigmar, parts of Cities of Sigmar are going to be Legend and moved into the Old World line. So for that to happen, for you to stop using your Free Guild Guard and your Free Guild General on Griffin and whatever they do, they're going to have to retire them in Age of Sigmar, which will be the box for Cities of Sigmar, move that line across, and Old World picks it up. So I feel like it's within a 2-month window at most that they happen. So I don't know if that means Cities of Sigmar is pushed out or Old World is rapidly coming, but I feel like that they're linked somehow. That's my guess.
Winter, huh? That'd be cool. I feel like it's cutting it a little bit close for that, though, with how much we've seen.
they're ramping up, but there's not a lot. Like they haven't actually showed us a lot, but they are ramping up. It's becoming more frequent.
Yeah.
Do you think Tomb Kings will live up to the hype? Maddie, what's your thoughts on that as a Tomb Kings player?
I'm hyped. Like, notably, I wouldn't call myself a Tomb King player because I've never played Tomb Kings. A wannabe Tomb Kings player.
I think it comes down to the community. I think like what's the community's expectations, and will it live up to your hype?
I think also, there's always some amount of, how much of this is that something is cool or underwhelming or, exciting versus, I think a lot of players have a lot of nostalgia, and it might not necessarily be that something is bad so much as it isn't the same as how they remembered it.
Yeah, 100%. You perfect. And Chase, a really good point. So, in the news in the last, say, 48 hours, Games Workshop gave a cease and desist to WAP, not Wet Ass, the other WAP, Warhammer Army Projects, which was a fan-made. Yeah, so that's been running. That's been like the unofficial 9th edition of Fantasy Battles, and it was created just by the community. It's been running for like 13 years, from my understanding, and recently this week they got a cease and desist. So that makes me think that again, another step in the wheel to get Sigmar preparation for Old World. So I'm guessing within the next 6 months. 6 to 9 months at most.
That'd be exciting.
Mordheim free rule wise. I actually have the original Mordheim. I've got models. I've got the books. I just want it back. Get other people. I've
seen the rules from Mordheim, and I don't think I want to. They're old.
My original. What else?
Definitely got the rules writing of an old book.
What else? Total War. Sorry, Total War. The Old World. Yeah. I don't know when your summer or winter is. What else? What else the chat got to say? Where is the big pigs? GW. Yeah, I would like to know more about the more.
I wanted Underworlds too.
I'm surprised.
It's relatively soon, I would think.
Question: Old World is prior to the vampires. Incorrect, no. My friend. Neferata was definitely active at this particular time. The Vampire Wars actually just finished, so they were a little bit resting and a little bit sleepy at this point. But definitely vampires are around and very active. Very active. What else? No Scryer models. maybe these 30k a Scryer. Maddie, if this is the last thing we're going to see, and I don't know if there's going to be more, they seem to be talking a lot about this 15 mil range of models. How would you rate this particular preview session?
I don't know. Like, I feel like it's a little bit underwhelming. I really did think that we'd get the second Dawnbringers book previews. I was really hoping for that. Like the new cities models are cool, but other than the centerpiece, like I feel like we didn't really get too much new information.
Nah. By the way, shout out to Theroden here. I struggled to find a P word that wasn't the real WAP. We have wet ass pigs. Love it. I'm down for some wet ass pigs. Yeah, look, at the moment, if this is it, I must admit, for an ad hoc, out of nowhere preview stream, I'm not sure why they did it other than to kind of promote Epic. This feels like just an Epic preview.
Yeah, maybe.
Like there was some
give everyone else a little bone and.
Like there were some cool things. We had the Grot who was stealing an egg. We have some monkeys. We had some cities models that we mostly saw, but there was a bit more detail. I'm a little underwhelmed. Like, yeah, they could have put a few more things into this.
I'm still holding out hope for, maybe we get like the end of stream chaser.
Like a Marvel movie where you stay towards the end of the credits and then there's something hot right at the very end that gets us talking.
They've done that before.
Yeah, look, I'm seeing some people in the chat talking about things like roadmaps, and it feels like if a roadmap was going to happen, it's already happened.
I don't think we're getting a roadmap. Yeah, not at
like,
this point.
No. It feels like either we're done or they're teasing us and they're going to drop one more thing. And they have done that before. Reflecting on it, Cities of Sigmar. Okay. I mean, that new hero is awesome. Big fan of the Manticore hero. She looks great. Hopefully she hits harder than Indrasa, the wet noodle that she is.
She's got a big Manticore. I'm sure, even if she doesn't hit very hard, the Manticore certainly will.
I dig that. Bretonia, that standard bearer, I thought was underwhelming. For a BSB, I expected more. Do you want to? I'm opening a space in case you want to comment on them.
Yeah, I don't. It's a knight. Like, it didn't really wow me.
You had the Skaven Underworld warband.
Those are cool. I like
that. Was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Big fan.
We also had the Cruel Boys with their monkeys. That was cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping. All of them have been very good so far. I'm hoping that this maybe shoots Cruel Boys up a little bit.
Well, Eddie keeps looking at the screen, so maybe something's coming up.
There's a few questions there about the scope and scale of it. So
I don't care about. Right. When he looks at the screen, it looks like it's like I want to show a preview. Right. Just move along, Heresy. Move along. What else? What else do we see? And then there's some 40k stuff and 30k stuff and whatever. Like, and if you like 40k, I'm not disrespecting you. It's just I don't care, so I'm not going to pretend to care. I kind of regret almost staying. It's about to hit midnight. I'm like, why did I stay up? Like, it's cool, but I could have just woke up in the morning and looked at Warcom and probably felt just as cool.
Yeah, I expected more.
Yeah, so did I. Chat, what do you think? What do you think, chat? And I'm not trying to I'm curious, am I just ungrateful and I'm a jerk and obviously had the General's Handbook and Dawnbringers and all this cool stuff that's happened. Gareth saying I'm happy to disrespect 40k. Look, I'm not. It's not for me, man. It's not for me. There's like 5 sci-fi things that I like in my life, and it's not one of them. I'm just not a big fan of sci-fi. Oh.
There you go. So thank you ever so much for joining us. Alex, anything you're particularly excited about from the preview today?
Really, Eddie? Was that truly it? That's it. All right. I'm going to keep them on screen, Maddie, just in case they show any more. Closing comments. What do we think? And I'll give the chat an opportunity before I wrap things up. But Maddie, what do you think? Any thoughts, any hopes? Do you think something's coming down the line that maybe they're not quite ready to show us just yet? Where are you at?
Yeah, I mean, the second Dawnbringers, but it really has to be previewed soon. Like, that's got to be coming. Because it's probably maybe the pig and like one other model. So maybe they're saving it for when they actually announce the book. I don't know what's up with that. Cities is definitely exciting. I'm glad they're ramping up models for that.
I'm just going to interrupt for a second. Apologize. And it's not like a Kanye West interruption to Taylor Swift. Age of Something, I think, has hit the nail on the head as well. For a not 40k reveal, I would have expected something from Middle Earth, at least Necromunda and Blood Bowl. At least something from Necromunda and Blood Bowl. It seems half cooked. Like, I feel like it's missing something.
We got like one preview for a couple things, but just very lackluster, I guess. What we saw was all very cool. Just not actually that much.
All right. I want to ask you now. I'm going to pivot really quickly, and then because I want to go to bed now. It is midnight, and I'm an old man. And while I look at the chat and I see what people are saying, let's pivot to literally a couple of hours ago. Content creators like myself could finally talk about General's Handbook 2023, focused in the realm of Gur, in the icy magical realms of Antor. What's your first thoughts? Like, do you like it? Are you excited about the magic dice? Obviously not the rules and some of the erratering that needs to happen, but as a theme and as a 12-month cycle we're about to enter.
Yeah, as a theme, it's really interesting, and especially the battle plans. I feel like all the battle plans are very interesting. You know, they're not just 1, 2 more. All of them have, like a little bit of a gimmick to them, which I think is fun. The stream could have been an email.
This stream could have been an email. Couldn't have summarized it better. Thank you, J Smith. Please continue, Maddie.
The magic changes do a good job being both impactful, but also there's big impacts for both armies that are strong in magic and also armies that are strong against magic. You know, it doesn't feel like this is going to be a bounty hunter situation. So that's nice. I actually got a game in last night with the leaked rules. So that was fun. Really, Tom? You gonna hurt me like that?
What was the lessons, or what was some of the things that you noticed from your game of the new battle zone, of the new General's Handbook?
Yeah, primal dice are definitely really interesting. The sort of mini game of deciding, are you going to use one? Say you cast a successful spell, but you're worried your opponent might unbind it. Like, is this what you want to spend them on? Is it not what you want to spend them on? If you're going first in the turn, how many primal dice do you spend on your own spells versus how many do you save for unbinding your opponent's spells? They're fun. I like them.
What battle plan did you play?
The one where you get to destroy objectives if you have less victory points. I'm blanking on the name.
That's all right. I don't remember. Literally just come out. I don't know what rules you're talking about, but all the previews are now live. So whether it is you're watching a video from me, I've done a preview. You go to Goonhammer, they've written an article. There's plenty of the rules are now available to the public, so you can go check out and see what the new realm is about. Probably the one thing I'd be curious about as well is battle tactics. They've gotten a lot harder, right? You don't have eye for an eye, you don't have desecrate your lands, you don't have
they were hard. I actually ended up failing 2 of them, and part of it was my own fault. It was 2 in the morning when I was playing, so maybe not the greatest time to be playing Age of Sigmar. So the 2 I failed were definitely my own fault, but I never felt like I had no choices. At least, there was always one I definitely could have done.
Good question. What factions do you think will rise to the top? Now, we know that there should be a meta watch coming in the next week or 2. I think they might have already announced that's coming next week. Cool. So there might be some additional rules, some points adjustments. So obviously we can only talk about what we currently know, and who knows what's coming. Some people might get a significant decrease. Some people might get significant increases. Do you see any particular factions rising to the top? Because, Magic is already saying Lumineth, Seraphon, and Tzeentch. Are these just going to be even more?
Seraphon and Tzeentch, I think, are both greatly benefited. Lumineth, I think, actually has some problems. Like, they're really heavily reliant on Teclis, and I think Teclis is hurt by this edition's rules because he can't use primal dice. And now, on average, any little random foot wizard can unbind his, spells like cast out of 10. If you use one primal die, you unbind that 10 on average. So I think Teclis stonks are down, which I think is going to kind of impact Lumineth a lot.
Thoughts and prayers for Lumineth.
Oh, I don't feel sorry for them, but
that was sarcastic. That was sarcastic. Do you reckon there's any armies that are going to shoot up? Like, is this a time we're going to see OBR Null Myriad rise to the top?
Null Myriad is definitely strong. I was still playing Mortis Praetorians. I'm a big fan of it. But I definitely think that Null Myriad, especially depending on what armies do end up being good. Like if Zinj and Seraphon do skyrocket to the top of the meta, having a 2-up spell ignore is very strong.
It's interesting. Like there is a bunch of things, like whether it's a spell shrug. Obviously, 2-up is an extreme, right? But my dragons, for example, I've been running around with Stormdrake Guard with a 4-up shrug, and if there's more spells and endless spells on the table, that becomes way more valuable. And I've talked a little bit about my preview video. I'm really high on Dorelia Van Dents, the Wizard Hunter. She does double damage. She gets 2 shots with her crossbow. If she doesn't move, she's like 100 points. She's actually really good value. I'm sure
too.
She can shoot off endless spells. So like there's going to be these little pockets of like, the Rune Lord who gives you +2 to unbinding and dispelling. There's going to be these little things that we haven't really seen very much, like the Luminarch. And I'm sure there's plenty in other factions where whether it's you can't compete with Seraphon and Zinch, for example, in the magic battles. When they've gone and doubled down on primal dice, it's going to be hard to beat them. But if you got that Knight Incantor that just goes once per game, nope. You can't do that.
I think the Knight Encounter is going to be a staple. I think people are going to be allying it in.
There's going to be these little things that haven't seen the table for a while that's going to be worth revisiting. Maybe an endless spell that maybe you haven't played with for a while that has had a bit of a glow up.
For sure. Khorne too, I think, is going to be strong. They've got a lot of anti-magic.
And it's something like Khorne that's going to stop people from getting to the top. Like anyone who wants to go 5-0 at a tournament, you got to think about how you handle Khorne and how many points you put into your magic, because that'll just get shut down.
Yeah, I do think overall it looks, pretty even with, wizards versus anti-magic.
Yeah, there's a good mixture of anti-magic. Yeah, like, evocators on Dracolines is another example. We didn't really see a lot of like Sequitors and evocators, and obviously I'm talking from a Stormcast point of view, but I bet you these little things, Kabbalist, another great example, Max. Kabbalist has started to kind of see itself into the meta of late.
That's what I was fighting.
Like, everyone was talking about host of the Everchosen and Knights of the Empty Throne, but like now Kabbalist has got a place in the meta. Hallowheart in Cities of Sigmar, yes, there's going to be a new book coming, but Hallowheart might be worth revisiting. There's so many cool things that maybe you haven't seen the table for a while that it's worth checking out. Any other final comments, or I'll go to one final question, and that is, what factions do we play? So I'll pass it over to you. Hopefully people know which factions I play, but I'll let you introduce yourself and your factions.
Mostly I'm playing OBR. I like Mortis Praetorians, but Null Myriad might be the play this season. I also have Soulblight and Nighthaunt. Soulblight, great book right now, and I think that they play into the season well too. They've got a lot of good wizards. Nighthaunt, I think, is going to struggle a little bit because they want magic, but they don't have great magic. I really do hope that in one of the Dawnbringers books they get another generic, like, unnamed wizard. I think that would help a lot. Because right now it's just the Guardian of Souls.
And the rest are all unique heroes,
all
which
Yep.
means they can't take advantage of the Antor things. A couple of other really
Primal Dice, at least. Like, I think
sure.
Reignor might see play.
But people want to use Hoarfrost. People want to use the Merciless Blizzard. There's some cool things that you want to tap into.
Yeah. I think Hoarfrost is a little bit overhyped. Like, it's definitely a great spell, but I feel like everyone is doing all their numbers assuming they get Ren 3 off every time. And, like, it does cast on an 8, needs to be not unbound. And then you still do need to roll the D3, and get that 3. Great spell, but I would maybe do the math with, like, Red 2, which is average,
There's a lot of failure points, but when you're doing it on, like, a unit of like 40 goblins, and then you use, like, you also use, I don't know, the Gobblepalooza to get an extra point of rend as well. All of a sudden,
really stack that up.
Yeah, I've seen people talking about ghouls and stabbers, and something they can do
too. Ghouls, which is
nice. Yes. So did Flayers, and so did Horrors. Gobsprak, another great example, because you've also got that once per game 3d6 unbind, which is hot. Gobsprak, the Cruel Boys bird wizard.
Yeah.
What else? I saw some really good examples, and I think this is the exciting piece, is that I can go back into my battle tomes and my armies and look for new and interesting ways and things that I haven't touched for a while that might be worth reconsidering, or maybe
Sylvaneth too, like with the Warsong Bomb. The Warsong spell does not say unmodified, so if you jam Primal Dice into that, that's a lot of damage.
See, I'm thinking Scragrot's War Scroll
too.
Spell.
Yep.
His spell, because you just use dice and that's going to jack up.
I feel like those have to get eroded at some point. Like, that could be scary.
And just to call out a few people in the chat, I'm going to say this publicly. I've said it everywhere else. Kids, there are no points right now. Points will come in the next week or two.
They're probably going to be Thursday with the Meta Watch.
I cannot confirm or deny that. I cannot confirm
all the
or
other
deny that.
battle scrolls have dropped with the Meta Watch. I would assume this one with the Meta Watch too.
Neil's asking, what are you expecting from Nighthaunt? Good question.
I want generic wizard hero. I think that's likely. I don't think it's too big an ask. I don't know if we'll get one soon, but I think that's a reasonable thing to come from one of the Dawnbringers books, if not the next one. Also, in fall, there's a Death Warcry band on the roadmap. So, 50-50 chance either Nighthaunt or OBR.
But won't that be a unique hero?
No, Warcry bands.
Warcry. You said Warcry. Sorry, I thought you were saying Underworld. No, Warcry. Yeah, that makes sense.
Warcry they've always been a unit. So.
Well, actually, Chase coming out with the left field. The Scriptor Mortis. The Scriptor Mortis is something that fell on its ass very quickly. That looked like it's such a like it has potential. Like, when you look at the War Scroll, you're like, this is okay. But then when you think about how little you actually get to use the hero, it's like, oh,
it's so unimpactful. And Nighthaunt, hero slots are at a premium.
Cool. Maddie, final comments. I've tried to close this off a few times, but I've actually really enjoyed this watch party with you. I hope you all enjoyed it. It was fun. Unfortunately, GW didn't deliver the goods. While it was, and someone said this in a chat, while this was advertised as a Not 40k preview, it really should have just been called the 30k preview, because I feel like half of it went to 30k and then we got a little token thing over the fence.
Yeah. I am pleased with what we got, but a little underwhelmed.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to have seen more from cities. I think because they showed a lot of stuff that we already saw, like I'm a bit underwhelmed. If there was like a lot of new things, like we just saw that alchemist thingy with his magical leather cape. All right, I'm gonna end it. All right,
you need some sleep.
I got a 40th tomorrow, so I'm gonna roll. But shout out to your crown as well. You're wearing a lovely crown. Maddie
Thanks.
is a moderator in my Discord, but also more importantly, an incredible contributor to the community. Rules Mortarch extraordinaire, part of the world stuff, which was awesome in the Netherlands. And yeah, like this was a great chat. Great to have you on the channel finally. And do you want to close us off? Anyone you want to thank or say or praise Nagash? And I won't say anything. I will not respond. I'll let you have the last word.
Nagash, indeed. We are all one in Nagash. Happy Canada Day.
If it's Canada Day, happy Canada Day, Canadians. May your maple syrup be delicious, your apologies be sincere, and I don't know what else to say about. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. All right. Thank you all. Thank you for joining this random at middle of the night stream for AGW. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had some fun, and hopefully we see more from the Dawnbringer Series 2. I want to see what's in the book. I want to see what's coming out, and I want to see what rules are coming. But Maddie, you're a legend. Thank you so much. Chat, thank you for joining. Thank you if you're watching this on replay. If you do, I don't know why you have. Just go to Warcom and look at the article. I would. All right. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, Maddie.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Coach.